Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the World Tactical Racing League, WTRL TTT number 77. We're out here today for the Sand and Sequoias 42.8 kilometers today, and a whole lot of racers, the largest event each and every week out on Zwift. I'm Nathan Guerra, Dave Towle next to me. Dave, why don't you go ahead and run us through the stats for, I think we got the stats up here for the week as far as the numbers today. I think it's 659 teams, 4,000 racers, 90 countries, 8 zones, and Premier Platinum League out here today when we're covering Vienna, Espresso, and Mocha.
Yeah, the last time we raced on this course was July 9th, so not that long ago, but things move quickly out here. Every record that we have from the course was set on the 9th, except for the Dirty Rascals dude. It was back on the 16th of January, so just as the new year started, they set their course record. So we have the different categories today, as you mentioned, Vienna, Espresso, and Mocha that we'll be jumping in with, but it is WTRL Volendam that had that fastest time. We didn't really have splits back then, but today we do 10, 20, and 30K in. That's a really nice interval to work off of, Nathan. So this course, let's talk about it. One of the most well-known routes in the world of Zwift, right? Sand and Sequoias. Does it get any more, I would have to say, thoroughly ridden than this?
Yeah, I think that this course is super popular, mainly because of how many, I would say the versatility of it. How much you have as far as the change-ups. It's got a lot of flats. Obviously you're through Fuego flats for a long period of time. Very good for a TTT situation. But then you've got some steady ups and a good KOM climb out there as well. So I think that makes it extremely popular because of those realities of it having a little bit of everything for everybody. And I think a lot of people like that out on Zwift. Also, it isn't extremely insanely sharp when it comes to the kicks either, and so I think that's also what makes it a little bit pretty popular.
Yeah, I would agree. It's a course that really would suit a team that brings 8 riders with varying skill sets and the ability then to let people play to their strengths on different parts of the course certainly will be huge out here today if you want to be successful. Time taken off of the 4th rider's wheel. So this makes things interesting. Most teams will start with 8, but this team time trial format, Nathan, right now with what's happening with the ZRL, the Zwift Racing League, there are a lot of riders that are really trying to pick up the cliff notes on how do you team time trial? How does this work? What are the ins, the outs? And there's really nothing that will teach you better than the experience of jumping in with 8 riders and just figuring this out on the fly, because it gets messy at times. You're going to have to do some cleanup on aisle 3. There's no doubt when you start splitting up with riders, but eventually you'll have this group well together, working as a unit, and then it's getting that 4th rider over the line as quickly as you can. It doesn't matter what your individual time is. And Nathan, that's another thing to remember. If you do this perfectly, you'll come into the last K with 6 riders, and you could even do that beautiful booster rocket, put one rider on the front who goes as hard as she can or he can for 500 meters, and then let the rest of the team come and gallop across the line. It's really interesting when you see a team that gets it perfect. But everybody misses a step out there at some point. So, Nathan, I'll throw it back to you. Sand and Sequoias, I am stoked. Number 77, it's on like Donkey Kong.
Yeah, let's go ahead and jump right on in with the, today, like we said, we'll be covering Vienna Espresso as well as the Mochas today. And we're going to jump right on in with one of the first seeds to go out. Now, just like any TTT situation, it is based on seeding who goes out first. The slowest time from last week's qualification for the Platinum League goes out first. So we are in with the team Valkyries here, mainly Norwegian team. And they're going to be hammering away trying to better that result from last week. We're going to go ahead and bring the splits on in here as well. As they come through, like you said, they're going to be doing the 12, 20 as well, 10, 20, and 30K marks. The little green next to the names means that those riders are out on course. So we do have Vikings Valkyrie, Z-Sun Hypernova, Cryo RDT, and Aeonian RT are out on course. Now, the choppers are back this week, which is interesting enough to see. That's the top pro triathlete team. Lucy Barclay, a lot of times out there, is going to be one to watch out for. I wonder if she's jumping in with us. Sox Watts Unicorn, Sisu Race Like a Girl, Wonder Women, as well as Sox Watts WRT. That's going to be the situation here for the race for the Viennas.
We could do an entire broadcast that just featured this category. There's so much going on right now. Nathan, I did want to start with a somber note, and we mentioned that Natalie Lawrence is not racing with the Wonder Women today as her mom passed away. So she actually was in transition, and obviously with everything COVID going on right now, it's a really tough time. So we wanted Natalie Lawrence to know that everyone on her Wonder Women team and all of us at Zwift Community Live send our thoughts. And Nathan, you know how it is. Sometimes there's bigger things than racing.
Yeah, definitely. I have to agree with that 100% as far as I like the sentiment that was sent over. We're all Wonder Women, and I definitely thought so. And Natalie, one of the brightest stars, I would think, amongst always sending amazing posters for the Wonder Women, and really you can tell that she's found an amazing community amongst her team in the way that she's posted on socials and stuff. So of course, we're all thinking prayers and thoughts, and definitely support there for Natalie and her family.
They're going to miss her, Nathan, no doubt about it today, but she'll be back, no question. Wonder Women has really been the big challenger so far. If you want to start doing some analysis of this category, again, we use the coffee groups here. So we have the Vienna, the women right now. Wonder Women has been the biggest challenge that Sox for Watts WRT has seen, that legendary squad. But hearing that the choppers are back is really intriguing, no doubt about it. So we're going to have this might be the most competitive race that we've seen in a while, to tell you the truth, Nathan. Maybe we'll see these times coming down to a matter of seconds at the finish. It's a long 42.8 kilometers of racing. So taking a look at Valkyrie, Nathan, I'm not sure how many they started with. This is a Scandinavian squad, and absolutely one of the teams that we see week in, week out here. But they're down to 5, if I'm seeing this correctly right now. Pretty early. We're only 6.
Like they are down there. I believe they started with 5, if I'm not incorrect here. Martin, you want to help us out on the graphics here? I believe they started with 5, and then the Z-Sun Hypernovas will be 7. The little green there signifying how many riders that they're with. And does it also help us know how many are left there? Martin Carew from WTRL.
Yeah, that's correct. That's nice. So obviously the green indicator means that they are out on course, they've started, and the number inside the green box is indicating how many riders they have that have been picked up. I'm actually just in the process of fixing a few tags that people have misspelt or not put on. So those numbers will change in the next few minutes while I get through the list of, 300 riders at the minute.
It is absolutely amazing, Martin, what you guys do to create this. Again, we're into the 77th WTRL. Nathan, when you look at how they cracked the code on making this event a possibility, it's amazing. But you know what I'm seeing then? If we're mining data, the choppers started with 4. This is a really long course out here today, 42.8K. That doesn't bode well, I hate to say. This is the kind of day you want 8.
Yeah, I'd have to agree, especially on this flatter sections here. If it were a little bit more of a climbing course, that there was a lot more to deal with as far as climbing goes, I'd have a little bit more confidence there. Now you can see the kind of damage that can be done on a flat section like this with 7 riders. As you do see Z-Sun Hypernova giving a little bit of a kick here coming out of South Africa. This is going to be NVD Lind, and definitely throwing down in a way that has already brought it within 23 seconds of that Valkyrie team. So going to be very difficult to hold them off with those kind of numbers. Now right behind them, Cryo RDT. Here, as you can see with K. Paul on the front of it coming out of the UK on the Tron bike. And also, now look at the times now. Now, it may just be strength. There is reality, but that has come down so quickly to the Valkyries with having only 5 riders up there. So I have to think that there's just a reality of those extra bodies just keep the speed so high.
Especially this part of the course, Nathan. There's no doubt about it. They are absolutely flying now, touching 45K per hour almost. So this is, it is such an interesting course when you look at it. As far as racing goes, it doesn't really get much better than Sand and Sequoias because, as Nathan mentioned at the start of the show, you have really long, flat sections. I mean, that's what Fuego Flats is all about. But then when you get up into the Sequoia element here, And again, it's not like you're climbing out to Zwift, but it's a decent climb, and you're going to be in that mode for quite a while. So that's where, if it was all climbing, you really find that only the useful riders are able to hang on in the front group. But here in the flat, it really is different. So we're picking up now. Again, everybody is out on course. Socks for Watts. Nathan, I haven't really seen a run like this. Nothing really compares for me in the COVID era, outside of actually what in the men's side, the World Elite Zwifters are doing. These two teams have dominated in this platinum category. I mean, I would have to say over the last 3 months, they have won absolutely the lion's share of the WTRLs. We're going to be very quickly touching on 20 wins, and we've only raced 77 times.
Yeah, and I mean, you're starting to get to where the percentage is just absolutely dominating.
Like Eddie
across
Merckx.
the board.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Just an unstoppable force, it seems like. Now, I definitely it was pretty quick startup here for the stream, and we're going to give the voting rights 100% to Martin this week because of all of his hard work on the poster, because this is a great... And this would have been my pick as well, and this is Martin's pick, and he's definitely got a good one here as TFC. Lincoln Lattes absolutely killed it this week, in my opinion.
I'm protesting this vote. I'm an American, and I'm protesting this vote. We're going to have to take this to the Supreme Court.
We're taking it to the court here, and Boss is actually one of the riders with us, I believe.
No, I'll vote for this. I love this.
Yeah,
this
I'm with
awesome.
it too. This is winner across the board, in my opinion. I mean, look at this. This is amazing. So well done. Number 77, sand scores 2 left, 42. And it says, Boss, we thought you said it was sand and sun loungers this week. The pen closes in 20 minutes. I'm so glad he was able to get them off the beach and out on course. This is winner, chicken dinner, 100%.
That's awesome.
Yeah, amazing poster. Keep the posters coming. We will do our votes each and every week to try to get up to pick a winner. But I think that Chad will have to agree as well that this was pretty well done. We'll give some other shout out. Big shout out as well to the Aero Unicorns. I did see Charlotte Backus put a pretty good.
Oh, did you see that one? Yeah.
Yeah, she put a pretty good little promo out as a post with the unicorn. I thought it was very creative. The unicorn was essentially she had really hard workout, and it was just too hard, and had breakfast was the riders coming out as a rainbow, essentially, is what it looks like. So
that's classic.
It was really great, though. I really enjoyed that one as well.
This must be Reese Barkley that you're jumping in with, the world-class triathlete out of the United Kingdom, Nathan?
It is.
On the Ram Rockets team. There you go. I'm just going to finish my thought, or your thought here, because we have Alice Lethbridge, Tamara Jewett, and I wanted to add Paz Blackwell, who are joining us today. I know that we have Alice and Tamara anyways, and I saw in Alice's bio, she mentions that where she works is right next to an ice cream van that's magical. It makes a unicorn sparkle ice cream. And I was like, thought to myself, what is that? Well, she does me a favor and tells me marshmallow flavor with popping candy. And she says it's so good. So we'll have to ask Alice about that after the race. She'll certainly have earned one here, but let's pick up again with Reese Barkley out here. Nathan, I do want to highlight, though, the community here. We love the communication. It's become a big part of people's lives, the WTRL, and it's going to become even bigger with the Zwift Racing League about to kick off here in just a few days. And these are, this group of riders right here, I'll really look forward to seeing out there, as Reese Barkley has a lot of irons in the fire when you talk about racing on Zwift and coaching and being a triathlete and everything going on. So this team, Nathan, looking pretty strong right now. When you consider they're on a 4% grade going 36K per hour, that's not achievable by this engine.
Well, 56 currently. They were the first ones out on course, so, the lowest ranked seed, but perhaps we're going to see something better from them this week here. We are seeing the Z Sun Red Giants. They're 12:58 right now. And then WTRL Volendam with a 13:22. So looks like the Ram Raiders, they've gone out really hot. I mean, that is a really fast time to be ahead of Volendam there with at already 20 seconds, only in 10K. Really pulling away already.
Yeah, look how this is going to start filling in here now. So, will there be, because this is reverse seeded based on how you qualified out of your ride last week? Nathan, you mentioned there's 8 different zones and the Platinum League. This is Platinum League, but there's racing going on around the globe all day. So, what we're really looking at is more or less the best 11 teams from last week. So, you will have high quality teams that don't race for a while, example being the Choppers, who are jumping back in with the women in the Vienna category. But I think you're going to see times now that will go under 12:30 at checkpoint 1 here at 10K in. We'll also take a look at 20 and 30K here. Again, this is going to be time taken off of the 4th rider. So these squads that are holding together with 7, 8 riders are doing themselves a huge favor. As when you get back on the flat, you're really going to be looking to just keep swapping out new engines on the front. And let's see what we got. So tied now. That split coming in from the Callis team at 12:56 as well, Nathan.
Last week we saw Callis jumping in for one of the first times into this whole league, and it was really great to see them into the WTRL. And I think this was a warm up. Looking forward to the Premier League at the top level, because Callis most definitely will either be racing in that or be looking to qualify for it. And they seem to have really gotten their act together here. But ODZ, refresh ODZ here at that 12:34 coming on through, and they're another team I believe that's going to be fighting hard to be at that top level. I think that they're going to be looking for, I'm not sure they've made the Premier League, but they'll be at least looking to qualify. I mean, they've got riders Brett Boniface and others that are in the top seeds when it comes to the Zwift Power rankings. So we obviously, when it comes to teams, going to be watching out for them. And so I think ODZ, again, we're starting to see these new teams showing up and getting prepped for the reality of team competition out on Zwift and the Zwift Racing League. And here now in WTRL number 77, I think this is also a good warm-up for that. Now, we want to jump on over to the Mochas, as they are making their way through their first little go at the Sand and Sequoias section here. And we are in with the Vikings and Clinton here, who he actually helps to run things over at the Vikings team. So it's good to see him hanging out and racing out on course here, as always. And it does look like solid ride so far from, I think there's going to be Vikings Osberg at that 16-18, but the Team Type 1 Gluconauts, what a great name from Team Type 1, the Gluconauts.
That's the best. That's my new favorite team. New favorite team.
6 coming through, though. They're not walking away with it, though. It's tight with 20 seconds there coming through the flats.
Nathan, I realize that we're not covering the frappes today because we're in with the Viennas, the espressos, and the mochas, and we found that 3-category mix is perfect for what we're trying to do. But we do mix it up. And I did get a note, though, that wanted me to shout out Toby and Luke on the Dirt Time Chasers. Their whole squad, it was really important to them that these guys get some appreciation, because they've done an incredible job there, again, racing in that frappe class. And I mean, they've got racers, Nathan, who do what you do sometimes, getting up at 3 a.m. to race kind of out of their time zone. So really appreciate what you're doing out there, Toby and Luke, and good luck to the Dirt Time Chasers out there in the frappe.
They were always one of my favorite posters as well the last couple of weeks. So
they're cool, aren't they?
Yeah, very cool. Very, very cool. Loving what they're up to. As we go by the T-Rex, does the T-Rex have an official name? It's something, I mean, I should know that if he does. I don't think the T-Rex does have an official name out there that the community has landed.
Let's crowdsource it.
We're going to need to crowdsource that. So let us know what the official name is. That's our next competition for winning what the official name will be through the WTRL here. Put it into, we need Rex in the poster. Whoever does the best Rex and name in the poster next week, maybe we could give that to, I don't know if I'm an authority even on that, though. The community's the authority on that one. So I'm going to leave that alone here. But as we look through here, we do have, as you said, Tamara Jewett coming from the CCI Race Like a Girl, as well as Alice Lethbridge from Socks for Watts. And that is going to be a competition. It's nice to have a head-to-head competition out here as well, because they have been so close the last 4 or 5 weeks. CCY Race Like a Girl finally pulling off a win recently, and now Saksha Watt's back on top. So definitely going to be interesting to see how that game plays out. So we'll get some of that head-to-head live cameras here in just a little bit here. We definitely want to stick in, though, for a little while with the Mochas. We do have Carlson here from the Rhinos now with Jay Bishop and Stefan. It looks like Neil Quilter, and then Sloan taking on their first climb out here in the San Sequoias. If you're unfamiliar with Titans Grove, that's what they're heading into. In Titans Grove, all about the giant redwoods and the dinosaurs here. Jarvis the Bear makes a little bit of an appearance as well. But climbing, the climbs here, they undulate. They're not super sharp. It is just enough to put a kick, though, and maybe drop a couple off if you're not steady. But they can keep it pretty steady, and the speed's high with a little bit of punches. As you can see, them 2.3 watts per kilogram. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the categories, this is going to be the Mochas. They're going to be averaging around, at the high end of their FTP, around 2.5 watts per kilogram. But at 154 or higher beats per minute, still riders are working very hard to hold on at this point.
This is really where, Nathan, after you finish up a long, hard pull, it's important that your team doesn't jump you or accelerate a little bit, because it can be really hard to hold on. This is just enough at 3% that, if you've been up there, maybe even overextending yourself a little bit, you can be a little bit tender there for a moment. You can see how these little gaps open up quite a bit easier when you're on a climb like this. And again, at 4%, you start to actually become on a climb versus a false flat. It's really interesting how that all works. But this is sort of the issue. You don't want to let this get out of control. It's that old grass fire, structure fire thing. Sure, you can close down this. It's 10 meters right now, maybe even a little more than 10 meters. But now you can see, look how quickly it unravels there. So these teams really have a challenge. Let's take a look at what we have in the Mochas.
Speaking of unraveling here, Blackwell, I've seen a crazy effort coming from earlier. He has a lot of watts to give, so I have a feeling that there was a dropout for Paz. Blackwell here. This is him.
Jarvis can't believe it. He flipped over.
And he is out of this is a crazy effort. Looks like Barclay went back for him, actually. Kicking into orange numbers here. We'll see if Paz can get back on terms. Almost there. And the flats, it's getting him. I think he might be able to do this, but they can't hold up too much because their time is absolutely flying. They'll be losing precious seconds here at this point. Because of this hold up here, they're down in that sixth place, 12:56. They're still within 20 seconds. Paz just gets back on.
Yeah, they all get together.
What a section to do it through, and now he's going to come flying through right to the front, actually, because of that huge effort that they made. Maybe be able to carry some speed, as you can see. Look at him calm down here, as definitely been a hard effort. He just needs to get in the draft
and take some. Yeah, just need to take some deep breaths right now and regroup here. They do a kick save there on that one as we're in now. That goes to show you, though, that, boy, you can't dangle out in the wind too long, Nathan, can you? After about a minute, if you don't rejoin the team and get back in the draft, you really start to watch that. It just gets harder and harder and harder. It logarithmically increases the amount of pain that you're going through. So a really good example here of a team that was able to bring it back together. And now let's see what critical time to have done that as well, because chasing on rollers is the worst.
Yeah, and so he's actually on rollers. Is that right? Is he?
No. I mean, on these rollers, the up and down.
I was like, how did you know he was on rollers? I didn't see that in the bio. No, chasing through these sections is very difficult. You have little kicks, but the speeds get very, very high from the reality of the team up ahead and how they roll, like you were saying, how they roll through. Because of that snowball effect we always talk about definitely can kind of take you out. But good to see Paz back on terms, one of our live cam riders. It would have been a shame having him put all the setup in and then not find himself in the mucks. I really do think that there was some sort of a technical issue, because he looks comfortable now.
Yeah, in an odd way, you picked the best possible rider, right? He's really in the thick of it. That's a great. So when you talk about burning a match and trying to keep them as many as you can for the end of the race when you need them, he burnt a fireplace match, one of the big old honking wooden ones, right? Because that was a really big effort. So now he's hopefully going to be recovered as we are going to start looking at some splits here. Cryo RDT, the Vultures in with a 12:33. Look how packed in this is for the top three. It's only 2 seconds separating first to third. So Cryo RDT Vultures in at a 12:33, 12:30. We're going to adjust that. And the R plus ODZ team. What that used to be R3R, right, Nathan? The
No,
3R
so
racing? No,
R plus is what the dropouts were, and they had a rename.
dropouts. That's
Yeah,
it.
that was
That's
the
it.
dropouts,
Yep.
and they had a rename actually recently. So I believe it's refresh
Perfect.
now. And then
I
R3R is
apologize.
a little ways right below them actually, and they're riding with no pins now. It looks like they just picked up a new sponsor. So and
There you
R3R
go.
here now 12:35, and it's tight at the top here as refresh, RDT, no pins, all separated, not even separated, the tied for the top, and then 3 seconds difference from no pins. WEZ.
Wait a sec.
This is the first time with WEZ.
First time
actually.
ever. Yeah.
Yeah. Great call there, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember the last time that I saw them not leading at any single split in the last 2 months. We might be on upset Thursday here, Nathan. Oh boy, call your friends, get everybody onto Zwift Community Live. We got ourselves a Donnybrook going on. Nathan, I actually am stunned. Let's go ahead and stay with the espressos right here because the Vultures with that fastest time at 12:32. Again, this is now the 12-kilometer or 10-kilometer checkpoint that we're looking at. We'll be looking again at 20 because I think the Red Giants are already through that second check. So they're also halfway through the race at this point with a 26:22 is the fastest time that we're seeing right now. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see what we get from that 20-kilometer checkpoint. But again, riding out of their mind is going to be the Cryo RDT Vultures, the R plus ODZ team, no pins, R3R. World Elite Zwifters have met their match out here today.
No, this is really interesting to see, and this is an old school call out here with Ganyan. And it's funny because the way that I know how to say this name is they were on me forever with Ganyan. And it's good to see if this is, I believe this is going to be the rider. If I'm not incorrect, I mean, there may be other Ghanaians out there as well. So, I mean, maybe I shouldn't assume too much as far as that goes, but really great to see if he's back in and racing. And I have a feeling that has everything to do with Alexander Gagnon coming back to racing because I believe ODZ/Refresh are saying, look, we need to get as many of our strong riders back out here and racing. And if we look through here, level 50, this is definitely going to be Alexander Gagnon. Gagnon like a canyon is what we used to call him here back in the day. It's good to see the Canadian back out and racing. Was always one of the ones to watch out for in a sprint, one of the strongest racers we've seen out on Zwift in the early days. We'll see with him coming back into the fold, whether or not with where the level has gotten, if he still is standout like he was 2 or 3 years ago, as I haven't seen this rider in probably that amount of time when it comes to Zwift racing here. But he's got quite the team around him. Brett Boniface, Dan J, Lennox here. I mean, this is some of the top names here, so definitely a great team to jump back in with.
It's like one of those old Hollywood movies, Nathan. We're getting the gang back together, right? I have the feeling that the Zwift Racing League is doing that for sure. We got to bring some of the old legends back, and I think you found one with Alexander here. This is going to be, it looks like a mostly Canadian-based team. Brett Boniface, another very well-known rider who we have enjoyed watching racing quite a bit. He took a little break and has now been back for long enough that break doesn't even really register anymore. So it is a mixed squad, no doubt about it. The UK flag there, that's going to be English again. ODZ plus R is the team that we're looking at right now as they keep the accelerator down on the floorboard. They're going to be getting their check here. More of them coming in right now. And Nathan, it's close. Look at this, 26-21 for two teams. A little bit quicker is going to be the Ram Raiders with a 26-19. Boy, this course bringing out the best for competition out here. Here's a team that has a little bit of welding to do now as we, again, stay with ODZ plus R. As they push the pace, you can see that it's got to be steady and smooth as well. It's not just the power. You got to apply it the right way. And these little gaps are going to be taken care of, but it's an indicator that everybody needs to refocus, double down here. Double down,
yeah,
or
look at Boniface
redouble
here,
their effort.
pressing on at the front here for sure, trying to push as much watts as he possibly can. 7.5 here, really solid pull here coming from Boniface now as Gagnon gets back on terms with him. Alexander Gagnon,
almost too solid.
Give you an idea of how far back we're talking. July 12th, 2016, Kiss Asia was the first race I have down for him. 323, 7 pages of Zwift results we're going back through actually here. So talk about old school. That's over 4 years ago. From July 12th, 2016. And I believe that was a broadcast race, actually, to be honest here. Absolutely awesome to see these old schoolers coming back in. And this is going to get really interesting because that says a lot about what is happening. I was told over 800 teams. 800 teams are registered for the Zwift Racing League, and this is one of the symptoms of that. Is we have all of these racers going, oh, it's getting real now. What we've been looking forward to for a while, well, now it's happening with WTRL. Really great to see. Let me jump over to the women here real quick from Vienna as the new team that are launching into San and Sequoias here, and that is going to be the new Aeonian team here, Dave.
Well, and I love this team. I'm not sure, do we have Daniela Strate out here today? But yes, we do. She's been one of the leaders, as Frisch as well, very talented rider. So this is a team absolutely up and coming, and they are rolling right now. 7 riders. They are dialed. So, okay, let's take a look at some splits here. Socks for Watts, WRT, and with a 13:39. Well, they're back at it, Nathan. The Wonder Women, 14:16. They'll slot in at second there with Ciso. I Race Like a Girl, only 4 seconds behind them, and another 5 seconds takes you back to the team that we're looking at. They're having a heck of a ride here today. All right, great team to pick up there, Nathan. High production value because this team is having their best team time trial ever right now as you look at Aeonian.
Yeah, they're definitely flying. And Daniela Estrate, she is definitely their strongest rider, I believe, on this team. Out on course right now as she leads things out through the Titans Grove. It looks like she was able to pull them through at a very high rate. Now pulling on through it is going to be Lawson, though, 6.2 watts per zone, taking her turn. They're a very experienced team as well. They take their racing on Zwift very seriously. I know that they've been doing some practicing, figuring out how to best roll through. As you do see, they have a tactic. Look at how they use the front end of the pack here. They use the snowball as best as they can. A lot of teams have figured out that it's not about a single rider on the front. It's about a couple of riders pulling through continually at a very high rate of pace, unless your strongest rider is just watt or 2 per kilogram above the rest at that time. As you did see Daniela Estrate take a huge pull through the entirety of Titans Grove to just try and get them as fast as they could through. But as you get into these flatter sections, you do see them kind of rolling through with that steady snowball effect of everyone kind of pulling through at little intervals, very little intervals, keeping that speed as high as it can because it does kind of roll and create an avalanche type effect here for Aeonian as wood now comes through at the front. It takes her pull at 4.2, 4.5 watts per kilogram. So solid efforts here, Aeonian. They are now, it looks like falling. Oh, let's go ahead and jump in. See if I can get that split correct for us here real quickly. Just make sure we got this right at the last checkpoint. And they were in 4th place at the last checkpoint. It switches up on us, though, just so everybody knows, once they come through at the 20. So we'll need an update on that in just a second.
So Andrea Heinrich, Anna Roinkinen, Ariel Verhaeren, Barbara Frisch, Daniela Estrate, J.L. Wright, Lala Lawson, and Michelle Wood making up the Aeonian team that we're looking at right now. Again, they are riding, the squad is really getting it together out here. It's going to take an awful lot, though, to beat Socks for Watts. Let's jump in then with Vienna. Now, again, looking at some splits, is that's going to be a 29.09 for Aeonian, but remembering we still have our highest seeded or our fastest seeds coming through, still to come through that checkpoint.
Back in with the Choppers. Good to see them back out on course here. And they had a 14:33, it looks like, at the last checkpoint. So we'll see if they can pull off a little bit, pull in some time here as they are battling out with Aeonian. As well as Sisu, I Race Like a Girl. It's very close. Very, very close amongst the Choppers and Sisu and Aeonian. So we'll have to see how that ends up playing out at the next check mark here. Good to see the Choppers back out on course. It does look like they are missing Lucy Charles, though, out here today. So some of their firepower not mixed in. But 4 riders, it looks like, with Nikki Bartlett as well as Gossage and Edwards here. So top pro triathletes in the world.
this is really where you pay the price for not having the larger squad on these flat sections. It's just really hard. As Nathan talked about, the technique of just having riders continually coming up and over the top to keep the speed high. Here, you just don't have that luxury. There's just not enough engines on the train right now. So this is where you really have to dig deep. It's going to be interesting to see if the choppers can find their way into the top 5 here today. Again, 29.09. Aeonian still holding on with an 11-second advantage over the choppers. So that would really put some wind in the sails of Aeonian here as well, because the choppers were, before we had Socks for Watts dominating out here, the WRT version of Socks for Watts. They do have a second squad, that's Socks for Watts Aero Unicorns. But right now for Aeonian, not only is this their best ride, but it's a quality of competition that should really have them feeling so good about things out here. Nice to see Z-Sun R Hypernova having a strong ride as well. Love this team. That's going to be Jojo Zolberg, Eva Goetz. This is a very international team. A couple South African riders on Hypernova, Marissa van der Linde as well. The Irish rider Shauna Finn, also Kiera O'Neill on Z-Sun R Hypernova, along with Dunette Shaw. So, all right, we're in now with Sisu I Race Like a Girl. This is going to be our friend. We are in with Tamara. There she is. So embedded there with an athlete on a team that looks like they're on a good day right now, Nathan.
Wow, 190 beats per minute here currently coming from Tamara. She's absolutely flying right now, coming out of Canada. Tamara Jewett, it looks like she's a former distance track and a field athlete. It looks like switched to triathlon in 2018, went pro in 2019 in Toronto, Canada. So she's connected with the CCR Race Like a Girl at a triathlon training camp with QT2 in Florida last February, just before a pandemic, it sounds like. So she's also a lawyer. Favorite ice cream is chocolate. I love these bios here. I was disappointed and wished I had chosen chocolate if I had tried to be adventurous and choose something else. We're saying, let's see here. So good to see. Very cool that she was able to jump in with this team prior to the pandemic, and it's obviously getting amazing results and workouts each and every week, as they do have 8 riders out here. So very strong team, always looking to challenge at the top end of the racing here. And we did see them take a win, and I believe Tamara was a part of that win a few weeks back, but 28:32, almost a full minute up to Socks for Watts, though. So Socks for Watts, again, walking away from this one. But Wonder Women here, only 12 seconds up, and Aeonian here are far way back. So really, it's that battle for second we've seen so many times here between Wonder Women and Sisu I Race Like a Girl.
Yeah, it looks like, and again, it's not over till it's over, but Socks for Watts putting on yet another clinic. Let me highlight the riders, because this team, Nathan, has been so good for so long that we've been singing their praises, and it's become a really familiar tune. Alice Lethbridge, who we are embedded with today, is one of the leaders on this team. Of course, our friend Charlotte Bacchus, who's been amazing racing out of Utah. Claire Good, the lawyer out of Wales, is killing it out there today. So, and what we have is also the Aero Unicorns, but Kirsten Pohl, the German rider on WRT, Rachel Elliott, legend Rachel Elliott out of the United Kingdom. And I feel like I'm missing someone, Nathan, on that WRT version here. But and I would apologize for that, because it's such a strong squad. But every now and then, there we go, Cecilia Hansen and Vicky Nealon. So they're in with Socks for Watts. Normally Hino riders, Nathan, but they had a lot of, we watched them absolutely crush Richmond yesterday. So they're back at it here on the world's #1 team time trial team on WTRL, which is without a doubt the #1 platform. They invented this online esport team time trial. It never happened before WTRL, and what Martin and Steven have done has created an awesome day every week. It's going to be even more than that now with the things happening with Zwift Racing League. But as we take a look at Sisu I Race Like a Girl, they're in a pitched battle right now with the Wonder Women team. It's only 12 seconds separating them. They're sitting in third. Wonder Women now, again, the gap about 50 seconds last check we had up to Socks for Watts, which remain the platinum standard in the Platinum League. They're unobtainium standard out here so far, Nathan.
Look at this focus here. This is Wendorf came through at a really solid effort there from Wendorf at 5+ watts per kilogram. And I saw the focus there on Tamara just a moment ago. You could see her relaxed in a few K back, but all of a sudden when it was about her turn, we saw some communication coming back and forth, and I saw her chatting a little bit. And then I saw this intense focus. Her body tensed up a little bit, and she got right on the wheel there of Wendorf at the front, held on at about 4 watts per kilogram while Wendorf pulled through at 5 to 6, and then Tamara knew it was her turn. Boom, you see it bump into that 5 watts per kilogram. Now it's her turn to pull through, holding at that 44 kilometers per hour. It's all about these stats and numbers that you can see. Now she's backing off. Her turn is over, 1.7, takes a drink, and the rest come right on through. It's so great to see how this plays out in real life.
Well, yeah, she really is focused, and that's what it takes there. If you're wondering what is she listening to, so the riders don't listen to music. They only communicate when they need to. Most use a push-to-talk feature, not all, but so, I mean, it does turn into a room just with 8 riders breathing heavily. It's not all that fun to listen to. So what you try to do is try to keep it as low key as you can on that communication network. But she's absolutely talking with her team, probably using an app called Discord. And really what we have learned, Nathan, is you bark out a couple keywords. Riders know that it's their turn to take a pull or to pick it up or back it up a little bit. There's usually a team captain. A lot of these teams have done a great job of not having to make tough calls. And here's a fun squad. I see there's another rider who's had a great last couple of weeks, Monali Kessler there rolling through with her Sisu I Race Like a Girl team as well. But we are embedded here with the rider out of Toronto, Canada, Tamara Jewett, who's doing a fantastic job, isn't she, Nathan?
Yeah, and I want to also give one last shout out here to this athlete here. Her manager is saying, Tamara is extremely humble, but she was previously a professional runner and is a very top professional Canadian long course triathlete in her 3rd year in the sport. Also doing all this while being a tax attorney at a large law firm in Toronto. And Zwifting, I think, is a huge part of all of that. The reality of how much you can get done because you just jump on the trainer at home and she's racing with and amongst the top athletes in the world right now to take down one of the largest events every week here. She's in the top 3 teams. It's pretty amazing what people can accomplish, and if they've got the mindset and the heart to do so. And definitely going to be, I would think, increasing her results, getting better results in real life as well, being one of those top-ranked triathletes. So let's go ahead and jump on over to those. Speaking of other top athletes out here, definitely want to jump back in with the espresso category because they are flying. And we're going to have some of their teams here finishing up in just a moment as we jump back in with Restart. I had a correction there. Thank you, Matt Looker, over at the Twitch chat. We do see ya over at Twitch chat, and he actually gave me, hey, Nathan, it's Restart. I thought it was refresh, but big help out there, actually, as Blackbird and the rest of the boys here look to chase down Callus Esports team. That's no joke of a team, so obviously Restart ODZ are having a really good ride out here today.
Yeah, they sure are. And here we go. So that 37.50 goes up on the board, and you can see there's no other team in the 37s, barely into the 38s. So, okay, they are on an awesome day today. We're going to start filling in the top times here. Again, World Elite Zwifters, it has been a long time since we've seen this team be challenged in, much like Socks for Watts WRT. This is possibly the biggest upset we've seen in a while. So Volendam in with that 39.35. Z-Sun are the Red Giants in with the 39.20. But here we go. So again, Restart ODZ 37.50. That's a classy ride they're putting together. That's the team that we're looking at right now. Scottish, United Kingdom, Canadian, a Commonwealth-based team, I think. I didn't see any American flags there. We're going to pick up Jones now with the Ram Raiders here. We're going to be, so the Euro Aliens in with a 40.26. Nathan, I don't know that anyone goes that much better than 37.50. I wouldn't anticipate seeing anything lower than 37.30, to tell you the truth, because our top teams are about to put their times up on the board here.
3 I think, though. I think they've stacked a team at this point. I'd be watching out for them. I think they had a recent announcement with the no pins. They announced this new top esports team that they're bringing to the Premier League, I believe. Watch out for this team. I don't think that they're messing around. And with that 38-18 there, only a little ways behind Restart ODZ. And I have a feeling they know how to ride as well. I'm not taking anything away from ODZ. They know their stuff when it comes to Zwift as well. They're both of these teams very, very strong, very experienced when it comes to Zwift racing. I want to see if we can jump in though with the Innovation Aliens as well as the 3R team though, because that 3R team here, I think, riding for no pins now. I have a feeling they're trying to show what they're worth out here.
Well, no doubt. I mean, it brings out the best as we're in the 77th edition, and these teams have really got this down to a fine science at this point. But that 28-second advantage is going to be hard to make up in 12K out there. No Pins is going to have their back up against the wall. Callis sitting in third right now with a 38.42. Again, as a reference point now, that puts Restart ODZ nearly a minute faster than the third time, but we're still waiting for World Elite Zwifters and the Vultures to come through this final check before the finish line here. So again, Restart ODZ, Nathan, they've ridden their way at worst into the top three at this point at the 30-kilometer checkpoint. So they got to be feeling pretty chuffed right about now. And positive mental attitude goes a long way. And we're still waiting again. It looks like we're getting a time in from the Vultures at 38:01. 38:01. That puts RODZ up into your top two. I don't know that the World Elite Zwifters are going to be any faster than that. I think we've got a very interesting leader with Restart ODZ. We'll see what time World Elite Zwifters put up, but I don't think it's going to be better than Restart.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to beat Restart out here today. Now, as we do have Snickers, it looks like leading things out for 3R or R3R here. Cryo RDT, what a time they're coming in from Cryo RDT. I believe that they were our, if I'm not incorrect, top seed from last week. No, WEZ, excuse me. WEZ
World Elite Zwifters.
Yeah, they did walk away with it last week. Cryo RDT, though, they were challenging it last time through with that 25:19, and it is Restart ODZ that we're able to pull through a solid 11 seconds off that top time from Cryo ODT. So it's been back and forth. It was that 12:34, then 12:32, then it was 25:20, and now we do have that 11-second difference here between them. So going to be still a battle here, I think, between Restart. WZ coming in just 13 seconds back. Really the battle here for third is R3R. Versus WEZ. As you can see, they go back and forth here. 1 second difference now between them at that last checkpoint at the 30K with only about 8K to go.
That looks like the race for the final spot on the podium. Right now, when you talk about our espresso category, today, the 77th edition of the WTRL, we're in with the Vienna, the espresso, and the Mocha category. We also have an interesting situation. So here for the men, and again, the Vultures are not out of striking range if WEZ or No Pins has a really strong finale here. So we're going to see who is up to it. But right now, the same situation going on with the women, except it's for second place, not third in that race there. So again, with over 4,000 racers, and the numbers are growing. It seems like only a couple of weeks ago we were at 3,500. So right now you can see that the fuse has been lit for the fall season and winter season of racing around the globe here. And with the Zwift Racing League coming up, these teams are really working. This is an important test event, no doubt, because team time trialing is going to become an even more important format of racing, or discipline, I should say, without any doubt. So there's our final checks up on the board. So we're writing the story now, just one last chapter here in this 77th edition. Well, that would be a huge win. There's no doubt about it. I would have to say this one would qualify as a stunner if they can hold on, Nathan.
Yeah, it would be really great actually to see if this Restart ODZ can take this down. You know, the Cryo RDT, it's kind of like changing of the guard a little bit here. And it's good to see because the WZ have been extremely dominant, so it's always really good to see when some new blood takes over at the top. Makes the competition, makes everybody push that much harder to try and get those wins out there. So great to see. Snickers here now trying to make his way to the front in the 3R. This is going to be that Cryo RDT team. They're the ones that are challenging, and this is going to be one of the most important sections of the race for them as Martins makes his way to the front for coming out of Germany as they go past the T-Rex now. See if they can a little motivation being chased down by dinosaurs now. But Cohen, Fiege, Martins, Weekhart, all out here. Adam Borrell's out there as well. Hughes, or is it? I'm going to say Aaron Burrell. He was with us a few weeks ago from CarRDT and the live cams. Cohen as well, making his way forward. So as they make their way over the top of the KOM, this is going to be the section where they can really make up a ton of time. They've got to push a solid 6+ watts per kilogram. Nikki Hug here, another top racer from the BRT team. How's BRT doing this week? They are in that mid-pack, the Brat Pack there, right around 5th place, looks like, with a 38.33. They could make up some time, too. You know, this climb, it's got the opportunity here if they really press on, but I'm not sure they've got the power to do so. As Hug, though, Nikki Hug makes his way to the front. 5.96 watts per kilogram is what you're going to need, really, to make any dents, I think, amongst these crowds, though, where they're standing in this top 5 right now.
Last time that we raced on this course was back in early July, the second week of July of 2020, and most of the current course records were set on that day. One of them, I believe it was the Frappes, that was set even further back at the very beginning of 2020. I would expect to see all categories, and it's also worth noting then that this is not the only race of the day. There's 8 other versions of this. This is the Platinum League, but teams like 2020, Nathan, are, since they didn't qualify for Platinum League, they're probably racing here in the next wave, I'm going to guess. And of course, they would have a top 10 time when you compare them against the world. So we're starting to see the teams restarting their seasons, not just restart ODZ, but a lot of teams are really kicking it into gear this week. A lot of team transfers.
Seeing a lot of chatter coming through over at Twitch right now from a few of the riders with this 3R situation. I also saw little bit of chat about this specific no pins, I believe, have this new cooling indoor cooling pack specifically
Sub-Zero.
made. Yeah, the Sub-Zero indoor cooling pack. We've seen a lot of athletes that are promoting this now, and it's a pretty cool thing that I haven't actually, I have an air conditioner literally right on me when I'm racing out on Zwift, and then a gigantic a huge high velocity drum fan that I put on me off of that in order to cool. But that gets even more down to like the scientific side of like, you just need to cool the CPU to go faster.
Well, exactly. I mean, you go back to the 2007 Tour de Georgia was the first time that teams started. It was Alan Lim. Alan, a really well-known sports physiologist who would take pantyhose, an ice sock. So you take crushed ice, you put it in the pantyhose, you tie it off on one end, and you slide it. That's why you see those things hanging out of the riders' jerseys on the hot days. That's just the end string and a way to grab and throw away that once the ice melts. And that evaporative cooling technique, I mean, all of the European teams like Mario Cipollini and those guys had a field day laughing at the slipstream, the young Americans that were using these ice socks. By the end of that Tour de Georgia, they were doing it themselves. So it's amazing how, it makes a ton of sense. You run that fan with cool water on your body, it makes a huge difference in keeping your core cooler, allowing you to make more watts.
Yeah, and there's just the reality of your homeostasis. It has to stay at a certain level, a certain heat level, and your body will redirect resources. It'll redirect cooling, it'll redirect, it'll sweat more.
Why your stomach is so
blood,
cold.
all of that stuff. It'll, and if you do not cool down, you just go slower. I think some people don't understand that too. They think that getting really, I'm just getting really warm and that's just a part of working out. But there's a reality that if you want to produce more power takes resources in the body. And if you don't cool down, one of the things your body is trying to do is cool down the amount of friction you are creating in your muscles. There's some basic physiology around it. And there is a reality that cooling is just as much of an enhancement as taking in extra sugars to produce that energy, to produce that ATP that's in your body. Well, that takes heat to do it as well. And so it's definitely something that is a huge advantage if you're able to cool, especially in these indoor situations. Because outdoors, you might not think as much unless it's a hot day because you always have the wind and things. But indoors, you're not moving. There's no wind. There's no cooling going on. So.
Yeah, I mean, can you even imagine racing without a fan? It would be insane how quickly your body would just squeeze every last drop of moisture out of you trying to get some kind of evaporate. Oh, here's an interesting situation. So we're going to be looking at the Sox for Watts, the top team in the world without any doubt, making a pass right now. That's Charlotte Backus right in the middle of our screen there with the purple jersey, the Turbo Rider. Sox for Watts is a combo all-star team. No doubt it looks like a dog's breakfast out there right now, Nathan, with these two teams rolling through here. So little bit tricky, but you're going to see, actually, that's going to be the Wonder Women. I just saw V win there that they're going through. So that's how good Sox for Watts are, is they're catching the next best team in the world right now. Well, Sisu and Wonder Women have proven to be the next best out there. But here's the problem, Nathan. Wonder Women are proud and strong, and they are going to have a hard time letting a gap open up and getting these two teams to separate. I really can't blame anyone, but this is not ideal right now. This is not textbook.
Yeah, I mean, I have a
happens.
tough
What are you
job.
going to do?
I have a tough time with this because it's like, well, you're catching us, but I want to have a good time, and so it's a tough situation.
What if I tell you there's a rule that your team can't integrate into another team? So that rule is important. So that's what they're doing.
There's a reality
you need
that
to follow
you have
the rules.
to watch. Well, okay. So at what point? My question at this would be, at what point is what's the superseding rule? Who's going faster? Well, who's got more watts per kilogram at that moment? What if so? You know what I mean?
The team's a minute up, Nathan. The team that is a minute up on course is the one that's making the catch. They are going faster by definition.
Yeah, exactly. I completely understand that. And so going through that team and getting past them, yes, definitely they need to give a little bit of space. So I think that the Wonder Women do need to back off a little bit at that point, allow the other team to go through because they are being passed at that point. It would be a lot easier if they could turn to the left or turn to the right just a little bit to get off the wheels, but there's reality that you can't do that. Looks like it worked out, though. They got through just fine, it looks like. There wasn't really, I wonder what the amount of time was there, and what the time limits are as far as like how much time can be used. We don't exactly have those kinds of rules at this point. We were looking at Alice Lethbridge there, 4.5 watts per kilogram currently. Looked like a lot of suffering on the face coming from Lethbridge at that moment, though. Some really, really serious efforts happening right here. So looking to catch Sisu, I raced like a girl as well. Lethbridge making her way to the front now, also riding for Team Heino. Recent pickup here for Heino, as well as Rachel Elliott right on the wheel too.
Yeah, so again, now you're looking at Sox for Watts here. The reason the jersey's all different, it really is like an all-star team. A few of the riders, now 4 of them ride for Heino, which is interesting to see. As this squad, Rachel Elliott is the rider that Nathan is focusing on right now. Vicky Nealon, these are the biggest names in esports on Zwift, without any doubt. So this is the command performance. These are the queens of the team time trial, no doubt. There's young Charlotte Backus again with this squad. And the team that they just went by there, Wonder Women, is a really strong team. You can see they're exactly 1 minute back at that check. That makes sense. That's what our eyes would be telling us. And then just a few more seconds back would be Sisu, I Race Like a Girl. So again, with no Natalie Lawrence today, not an ideal situation for Wonder Women. They're riding with Natalie in their hearts, no doubt about it. But this team right here, Sox for Watts, shows no mercy. It's just crush week in, week out. And now they're going hard enough that they're even splitting their team a little bit here.
Yeah, and it looks like with the Sox for Watts team, the reality of how incredibly hard that they are going, you saw it on the faces there just a moment ago. We're going to jump on over into the race, though, with the Mochas.
Well, here's another look, though. Let's hang with this. Watch this pass here right now. Right? This is much more what you're looking for, but the speed between the two teams, maybe not here because this is the issue. And there you go. Clean separation. You don't really get too much better than that there for one team passing another. They were barely integrated together, and now you can see complete separation. So that's what you're hoping for, I should say.
Yeah, and sometimes a little bit difficult to make it happen. And
what happens is if you don't have a rider on the team getting past that surges a little bit and tries to hold on to that draft, if you just kind of sit back and be calm for a minute, it goes by. But if you keep fighting to stay in that wheel, then you create the situation we're not looking for.
Now, Bespora here. Now, I'm going to try and get an idea of where things sit with the Mocha situation. It is going to be TBR Z6M1 here. They were the fastest team last week. They're kind of walking away with this one again at 46.44. Lost catch up there 48.06. Gluconauts there. You can see 49.08. BRT Supernova, fourth. So solid competition, it looks like, mainly from third to fourth. But first and second, really, Lost Ketchup have an amazing ride, actually, this week with the team coming out of the SCR team. Usually Martin Drogvik riding with that team as well. So they're going to be looking to better their last week, it looks like, by one place. Team TFC Hurricanes kind of off pace this week. They were the second seed, but not happening with that 49.57.
We're seeing some real changes here. You mentioned changing of the guard. This would be another example. So I'm not sure if this would be TBR Z6M1's first win. We've seen them up in the top three quite a bit lately, but this is commanding without a doubt. Almost a minute and a half back to second place. Lost Ketchup, who traditionally have been one of the best teams out here. So an interesting day out here for sure, as we are seeing outside of what's happening with the women, the Vienna category. We're seeing some big changes in every other category out here today, including this one, and certainly with the espressos.
Yeah, let's see if we can jump around a little bit here and find, a lot of the riders are about to be finishing up in just a moment. You can see with the little green marker does tell us that they are still out on course. The closest to finishing at this point is going to be the Vikings Osberg with 5.9 kilometers to go. They've got a 49.58 currently. Viking Berserker, I think, are going to be struggling to stay on terms with the, with the category this week. We'll see if we can get the results from this morning up on screen here in just a moment, because definitely going to be struggling, I think, with those times that we are seeing coming in from the other categories. And we do have, it looks like, teams. Let's go ahead and bring this in here real quickly. It is going to be earlier this morning in this category for the Mochas. The fastest time, 1:11:39, was set in the number 77 here by Iti Chua. WMZ4, they're 1:14:32. So we'll see. I have a feeling maybe Premier League going to do a good job about this. But again, we want to give a shout out, as we usually do. Arrow walking away again early in the morning here with that Zone 1. Live by Cycling Fierce there second and then third. That was the situation from Zone 1. Again, there are 9 zones throughout the day, Dave, so lots and lots of opportunity to take these top spots in the results.
And this zone would be, think Australia, New Zealand, that part of the world, correct? When you talk about Zone 1, where we kind of start our day on Planet Zwift?
Yeah, the APAC. The Asia Pacific,
the APAC, right?
Yeah, the APAC Asian area of the world is definitely where that's at.
Asia Pacific, right? That's where we start everything. But Aero, traditionally now an Australian team, that they don't want to race at 3 a.m, it sounds like. So I would think, Nathan, that Aero typically puts up a top 5 time worldwide if you were to marry all of the 9 different categories, or 9 different zones, I should say, together. Aero's a top 5 kind of team.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. And the reason being is that they have the kind of talent that is, UCI Continental across the board. Their team was put together specifically to compete from the road in real life into Zwift. So really, really well done job there. Tully Leister, one of the main guys who are behind developing that Aero team, both on the men's and the women's side of things. So speaking of the women's side of things here, Aeonian, we were talking about them earlier. Lawson here from Aeonian, as well as we're seeing Frisch. Is Daniela Strate still here? I have to see if we can find her out on course. And she is. She's leading things out as they head into their sprint here in just a moment to try and grab those final seconds. Aeonian, have they faded a little bit, though, on the day? They were fighting for that 4th and even into 3rd place. But, no, they're a little ways back here. They were able to, it looks like, take out the choppers, perhaps. 2 seconds
that was
the
the
difference,
battle.
though.
Yeah, they were about 8 seconds from the choppers earlier, so it was always going to be for fourth out here today, and it's going to come down to seconds, no doubt about it. They're going to be bringing it home right now, talking about the Aeonian team. The choppers, remember, we started them with 5 earlier today, so if they can hold on and end up in fourth, they're just riding out of their minds there, that team of triathletes out of the United Kingdom that we're really happy to welcome back to the WTRL. But we're going to watch, so it looks like Daniela Strate did. I love it. She took a huge pull there, knowing that the team had enough riders. She wasn't going to be able to. That's a hero right there. Daniela Estrate there, helping find a few more seconds for her team because they are going to get the time for her. She's part of this squad right here. So she's gone, but she was a booster rocket to help keep them up at 44 kilometers per hour. They're just about a half kilometer from the finish line. It's 42.8 that we have on the official docket here today. So these ladies using Daniela Estrate's effort, again, time taken off the fourth wheel, so they could even do the same again if they wanted to have another rider sacrifice herself and take a monster pull. And I think they're doing exactly that. This team knows how to close out the deal. Aeonian is in fuego right now. So time off of the fourth rider's wheel. They're doing everything they can to get that fourth rider across the line as quickly as they can. This is textbook how to ride a team time trial out here today from Aeonian.
Yeah, Heinrich now to the front. It looks like Lawson sitting second or third wheel here. Now it's going to be right up at the 5.8 watts per kilogram. They got to keep on cycling through. These are seconds that do matter because the choppers, they're coming on strong. They're actually tied at that last section here. Here we go. Fourth rider. They're bunching up perfectly here, and it looks like they're going to finish 2 abreast. That's really well done, actually.
Perfect.
As I think Frisch was the one that made it happen there for him. So solid kick. Cryo RDT are going to be the next ones coming here, it looks like.
If I was going to put together a short video to show you how to finish the last 2K of a team time trial, I would have used exactly what Aeonian did right there, Nathan. They sacrificed a rider, they kept the speed high, and then they swarmed across the finish line. They should be really proud of that effort out here today. We're going to go back in with the Wonder Women now. So this team, all heart, no doubt about it. Top challenger out here, and they're going to remain the number 1 contender, it looks like, as Sisu, I Race Like a Girl, is going to be trying to close it down on the Wonder Women, but I don't know that they're going to get that done out here today, as here is the squad in blue. We're with Monali Keller, who had a nice individual win, but she's part of this team that there's V Win, the Vietnamese rider living in Seattle right now, the fastest rider ever up America's mountain that they call Pikes Peak. Again, this team has tremendous potential. Eventually, they're going to have their day, but it doesn't look like it's going to be today because what we were just in there with Socks for Watts. Now we're back with Catherine Curie here, former U.S. road champion and another rider who's been working hard. But Nathan, they've got 4 riders, so they're going to need to keep this thing tight and bring it on home. It's close. I mean, it's not necessarily Wonder Women's second place, but it looks like they should be good.
Yeah, I think they do. They've got almost I believe, a minute at this point. Perhaps we'll have to wait and see, though. I mean, because I Race Like a Girl is right there.
They have more like 30 seconds.
We'll have to wait and see how this ends up playing out because they're very close, actually, out here today. Now, something interesting here is that the Socks for Watts unicorns, I think we're having maybe a tough day out there today. I'm not positive, but they were starting, the Aero Unicorns started, what seed did they start out here today? I believe they were 6th seed, but they're way down on with a 44-45, even behind the Viking Valkyrie, actually. So tough day maybe out here for the Aero Unicorns. Bringing in with 5, though. It does look like Team Turbo is represented here as well with this mixture. And
last week, they had an all-star with them from the A team. Lizzie Duncombe rode with the Unicorns that helped them get up there to 6th. So it goes to show you every rider matters. That's for sure when you look at a team time trial squad. So that's going to be the Aero Unicorns that we're looking at bringing it home. It's going to be another one for Socks for Watts, though. I'm not sure if Martin is hammering away on his keyboard or not, but I'm thinking we're so close to 20. This might be number 19 even now for Socks for Watts, Nathan, as they're just stacking the wins up like cordwood there at Socks for Watts headquarters.
Socks for Watts headquarters are definitely doing so. Let's go ahead and jump in. This looks like it's going to be the finish here for Aero Unicorns. We'll see what their time is across the line as they go ahead and ramp things up. We still do have the Mochas out on course, Team Type 1, as well as some of the BRT riders. Z-Sun is out there still hammering away too with Snow Bibby. So let's go ahead and jump in with that team. We do have a couple of riders for some great interviews in just a moment as well. As they have finished up their races. We'll bring them in when we got a chance. Just want to make sure that we do focus in on all of our categories out here today. And this is going to be the situation currently. Z-Sun here, 50-32, trying to hold on to that 9th place. It's going to be Viking Berserker, 51 minutes. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. Still plenty out on course. About 6K to go here for Viking Berserker as well as the Team TFC Hurricanes. TBR lost catch up, it looks like. Wow, TBR, 46-44. I mean, this is
wow.
Next level, as you can see here. Lost catch up. Gluconaut's there, solid result. Viking Osberg, the first one to finish it up here, 49-35. That was with the rider Mr. Bill Clinton there, not the president. 49-35 as they've come across the line. We'll have to wait and see how that result's playing out here, but definitely hotly contested. Within 5 minutes of each other, but really for those top 5 spots, I would say it's all within about a minute. Yeah. So it's just kind of that TBR is just the next level above.
I agree, and I am going to request that I want to know what TBR stands for, or if anything, but I assume it does. So I feel like I'm not in the loop. So guys, reach out. We would love to know because you really rode your hearts out.
Big ring,
there
the
today.
Big ring. I want to say it's the big ring.
The big ring. Is that for sure or a guess?
Ring. I'm pretty sure
that's a
TBR
great
is
guess.
the big ring. I'm pretty sure.
All right.
Well, I did a TBR event, I think, a couple of weeks ago. If it's the same TBR, they do a really great. They actually do a really great handicap race where the A's chase the B's, chase the C's, chase the D's.
Yeah.
And it was a solid 8 minute, I think, up to the D's. And the A category almost won it. There was one guy in the D category that kind of walked away with everything. But, it was a lot of fun. And the Big Ring, they've been around a long time, actually, putting a lot of these together. Mainly the U.S. West and APAC, I think, region for their events.
Nathan, you are a wealth of knowledge. I just ask Nathan is my new rule of thumb. Thanks, man. So saved me all the trouble. So we're going to bring Z-Sun on. Now, this is another team, Nathan, that when you talk about Z-Sun, that has many incarnations out there across just about every category. You'll see some of the Z-Sun R riders. I think this is the Hydra that we're looking at right now. But either way, a big shout out to that whole squad.
Definitely with the Hydras, and they are one of those teams that does an amazing job of highlighting all of their riders every week. All those posters that they do put out, a lot of work that does seem to go into the team and their organization. So always good to see them out here. We do have a couple of riders here that are looking. Let's see if we can jump on in with them for a little bit of an interview. I believe Boss from Ram Raiders. Boss, are you with us there, Boss?
Yeah. How are you guys doing?
We're doing good. Let's go ahead and bring in Boss. As these guys finish up, I want to just have a chat. How'd things end up playing out there? It looked like going through the first time through the Titans Grove looked like a little bit of a struggle. It didn't look like you were in any trouble, as far as your ability went. It looked like more of a dropout situation, or am I incorrect there?
Yeah, I got dropped a little bit just on the downhill. I think I was trying to super tuck maybe a touch early. And then once I'd lost contact, it was pretty hard work all the way through that next section. But actually, I could hear you guys cheering me on or getting worried for me. So it was really nice to have you guys cheering me on. And I managed to just about get back once the guys had dropped back a little bit to help me.
Was that the deepest that you dug throughout the entire race then? I mean, I know it gets hard in the last 5K, but was that your moment?
Yeah, for sure. It made it really hard. Normally I'd be putting some big turns in towards the end and trying to help the guys out. But yeah, it took a lot just to get back on. So I was kind of making up the numbers after that point. But yeah, it's great to give everything. It hurts, but it's really good fun.
Yeah, tell me about your connection with the team. Is it online only? Do you ride with the guys in real life? And have you ever done a team time trial outside of the esports format?
No, I've never done a team time trial outside of the esports, but have done quite a few road time trials, and that's where I met some of the guys. So we're actually quite a big group. Sometimes over the winter we'll get up to 3 teams in, but at the minute we're kind of just about one team, but we're getting a full team each week. So yeah, I know probably about a third of the guys, but a lot of them know each other through different ways. So there's some various links, but we're hoping to get some team time trials and some twos ups done as we get into the spring, hopefully, when racing starts again.
We're with Paz Blackwell. Paz, where do we find you? Where are you in the United Kingdom?
I'm just outside of London. Just guys are kind of spread between, I'd say, Cambridge and Enfield, where I am. But we've also got a few guys over in Wales and a couple of guys based up in Scotland. So, all on the British Isles.
You're smoking. You're steaming.
Yeah,
that's the sign of a really good ride. Yeah. So talk to me about that, though, the effort, how the satisfaction that you guys get when you complete a ride. There's really nothing quite like that. I mean, do you even feel nerves when you start? A natural fear that you hear in a world tour team time trial is even top riders are worried if I'm on a bad day, I'm gonna get dropped. You worry about that?
Yeah, for sure. It's always nice when you've got a full team of 8 because you just know that, if you have a problem and you just haven't got the legs, then they can just crack on without you. And it's a real nice team atmosphere, but you also have to be a little bit cutthroat's not the word, but just accept it. If you're not there and you get dropped, like tonight wasn't too bad. I was a couple of seconds down, so the guys could just spread out a little bit and I could get back on. But much more than 4 or 5 seconds, and you just have to kind of make the choice and say, yeah, guys, you go for it. I'm not going to get back on. We're going to slow down too much. And it's about that time across the line, really. So, we race as friends, but, we race for a time. So you just got to push everything in, and if it's not your night, you get dropped.
No quarter asked for and no quarter is given, it sounds like. Yeah. Hey, Paz, thanks a ton. It was so cool having you join us today, and great ride. You showed a ton of heart. I'm a big fan of yours now.
Thanks very much, and thanks for having us. Thanks for setting up the race, and thanks for the great commentary. My mum and dad got to watch me tonight, so thanks for that, guys.
Thanks, Paz. Thanks. That's awesome. That's so great. Awesome to see. Let's go ahead and see if we can jump in also with Tamara. I think she maybe walked away for a moment. We'll see if we can jump in with her. Oh, nope. It looks like Tamara is here. Tamara, can you hear us okay?
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Oh, she's chatting with Discord, I think. Maybe she's taken off. We'll have to wait and see. Tamara, are you with us?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. You have a couple of seconds to have a quick little chat? Yeah, put your microphone back to your mouth though for 1 second. Let's see if that works okay. Are you good? Okay, there we go. Thank you, Tamara. We got you. So, Tamara,
okay,
yeah, nice race out there today. You had a moment there where we had you on screen, and there's one thing I noticed was how organized your team was, because sometimes it's not as obvious whose turn it was when we're watching. The avatars all kind of like coagulate together all over the place. You guys, it was obvious to me. You had this concentration on your face. I could tell you were communicating. You went to second wheel. You were on Wendorf's wheel. She's pulling 5. You're at 3. And then I could tell it was your turn to go. I mean, you well-oiled machine, it looks like, with Sisu. I Race Like a Girl.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying. It still feels like a work in progress, but we're communicating the whole time on Discord, and we sort of call out, we have a pace line that we're working on, and we call out sort of who's on deck and who's taking lead, and do our best to keep it organized. It feels like it falls apart once in a while, but a lot better.
So, real quick, let's see if we can get our connection can stay good here. We did have just a moment for a dropout there, but also you're so 3 years into professional triathlete. Is that right? You're I mean, top level. It sounds like, coming over from running. How was that transition, and how has Zwift and this racing on Zwift helped out with that?
It's been good. Yeah, my cycling and swim in the triathlon have both been a work in progress, and I found the opportunity to race on this team has been really helpful this year in building strength in my cycling and maintaining a connection to people in that community as well, since there hasn't been much international racing. So it's been really good as training and also as sort of community, which is awesome.
Is it comparable how deep you dig in, let's say, the last lap of a 1,500-meter race versus the last kilometer of a team time trial out there? Could you rate the pain the same? Talk to me about that.
I think it's similar. I think certainly something that I'm working on is being able to access the same intensity on the bike as I can when I'm running, and this is really helpful for that, with sort of intense pulls and then a bit of recovery and a bit of higher intensity work than what I might do for sort of longer outdoor intervals on the bike. So I definitely feel like I need to improve a lot, but this team's been really supportive about that, and so I think it's I'm trying to get to the same level with those sprints on the bike as I can.
Can I ask one more question? One more question for me here, Dave. I'll give it so full-time tax attorney, is that right, in Toronto, as well as racing at the top level in triathlon, doing all this on Zwift? I mean, that's a lot to pack in the day. I would think that having this online community is helping with, at least I've found that. Is this a huge help to you, to everything you're looking to achieve?
Definitely. It's been sort of a silver lining of this pandemic. My office is work from home right now, and so my bike is set up 5 minutes away from my desk, and it's definitely making it a little bit easier to get that in around work right
now. All right, Dave. Did you have another? Dave, I think Dave had one more thing there. Dave.
Good.
Oh, Dave's good. All right. Well, Tamara, thanks a lot for your time. I appreciate it. Nice result out there today. It looks like you guys were able to pull off a solid result. We're still waiting for them to come in. You're hammering away. It's always you three, Wonder Women, I Race Like a Girl, and Socks or Watts battling it out. It's always great to watch, and thanks a lot for the efforts out there.
Yeah, well, thank you. These races are awesome and a lot of fun for us. It's great.
All right, take care, Tamara. It's Tamara Jewett, I Race Like a Girl. Great to have her on board with us here today. Now, I don't know if Alice is all the way across the pond. It does look like she's chatting away with Socks or Watts. I'm going to see if we can bring her connection. Might be a little bit too wacky for us. It might be a little bit too off for us, and we'll have to wait and see. But it is really. Let me just see if we can at least get audio from Alice. Alice, are you with us? I have a feeling Alice cannot hear us either. She's just chatting away with Socks or Watts, I think, at this point. Anyways, sometimes with Discord and trying to bring in the calls, the audio goes this way or that way, and not always able to bring in. Let's go ahead and jump into some of the results, though, as they do come in. I'm just going to double check in here with our man Martin, make sure that we are good to go, because one thing we definitely always do not like to do is giving you guys any kind of idea that we are off on the results there. Martin, are you with us there? I think we're losing everybody.
Yeah, I'm here.
Are we good on the results and everything?
They're looking good so far. There's a couple of sticky results. Looks like, and there's still quite a few Mocha teams out there, but other than that, we're good to go. I'd say the vast majority are in.
Sounds good. We'll just go ahead and use some Fuego Flats images here for that out here today for now. And Martin, WTRL, always there in the background, putting in the support. It's amazing how much work this guy does for everything in the world of Zwift. And this is going to be the situation here, Dave. Socks or Watts take it down with that 58.15.
Yeah, congratulations, ladies. Another great ride. Wonder Women gave it their all, the 1:08 out, and you can see the gaps almost at that 1 minute interval as we work back for the next few spots here. Sisu, I Race Like a Girl, as we were just in with Tamara there. Very cool to meet one of their riders and become a fan immediately. So Sisu, I Race Like a Girl in at third. The Choppers, look at that. So they do get fourth, starting with 5 riders. That was a gritty ride today from the Choppers. So they are back, and I would only expect them to get better. Aeonian had a nice ride today and finishing in 5th. Las Rapidas in 6th. Cryo RDT Reds, they'll take 7th. Then you've got Z-Sun-R Hypernova, Sox for Watts, the Aero Unicorns, and Aero coming out of Zone 1, taking the 10th spot. So Zone 3 also represented there with Las Rapidas. So that's our look again, Sox for Watts, the Queens of the Hill.
Look at that,
Jump
Dave.
right in with this.
Restart.
Yeah, wow, Nathan,
killing
huh?
it there. And some canyon
And look at second,
wattage
third,
there.
and fourth.
Oh, my goodness. Go ahead, Dave. That's all yours.
Yeah, thanks, Nathan. So restart ODZ with the 5350. So that's out of this world. But then take a look at this, folks. World Elite Zwifters fight their way back to second. But then it's only really another second back to the Vultures, the Cryo RDT team finishing with bronze. Then No Pins R3R backing up a lot of hype with the 33.851. That's a strong ride. Callis Esport Racing Team in 5th. And then you've got the Brat Pack, Ram Raiders, Dutch Diesel Cycling Blur, Z-Sun-R Red Giants, and Rowan King Lions rounding out our top 10. Nathan, that just got a whole lot more competitive, and congratulations to Restart ODZ as they took down the Kings out there today. So World Elite Zwifters really fought back. They were sitting even in 5th at one point, Nathan, but they didn't get all the way back as Restart ODZ with a massive win.
Yeah, that's really interesting to see the situation here with Dutch Diesel Cycling Blur as well as Rowan King Lions there. 5608 and that Dutch Diesel Cycling Blur 56 with the Zone 4 getting involved there as well. So obviously things really getting competitive between all of the zones here at this point. We didn't cover them out there today, but Two Guys Rim did take it down only by 4 seconds with Innovation Alien Express right on their heels. Evo Vortex were battling out with the KISS Racing team there for 3rd place, and we're able to get the better of them. Kirchner Cycling falls back a little ways for 5th there. Evo Warlords race R3R, Fleetwood Mac there, 58.27. Eat Dirt followed up by Dirt Dragons and then Dirt Time Chasers, and it looks like it is going to be Kirchner, Evo Warlords, Eat Dirt, and Dirt Dragons all from another zone, able to jump into the Platinum League perhaps for next week. And then in the lattes, Kirchner Cycling, they've been dominating this zone though, and it will be a 1:01.16 winning by 14 seconds. Viking Valhalla by 7 seconds over Team Type 1 Lancets, and then Las Freneticos there, a little ways back, about 40 seconds or so. Two Guys Nata, and then Team TFC Hornet, 2 seconds difference here between Two Guys and the Hornets there. Valhalla Graham, Eat Dirt 2, Team TFC Raptor, and then ZRGR TTT coming through for 5th in Zone 3 is where they did that. So solid ride from them. And here we go. The Gluconauts, your favorite, Dave.
Hey, right on, Team Type 1 Gluconauts getting it done in the Mochas, Nathan, with a 1:10.22. That's going to be, though, a scant 15 seconds faster than the Vikings Osberg for silver. And then the RR Black Rhinos taking the bronze medal. Eat Dirt 12 for 4th. Pemby Leopards in 5th. Then you have Newbury Velo Falcons, WMZ4, followed by WL Tri 2. In 9th is the Cryogen Herons, and rounding out our top 10 for the Mochas, Las Lagartijas.
And next week, we are out on WTRL Team Time Trial number 78, the Watopia Flat Route. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Really changing it up. Nothing but flat routes out on Watopia, not a lot of elevation gain. I think that this is going to be a whole new lesson in how you race a team time trial and how you get that snowball effect we keep talking about happening. Great training ride, a great race. Make sure to register. It does close 1 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. UK next Wednesday. Also, if you haven't known, I don't know how you don't know about it at this time, but the Zwift Racing League has launched with WTRL. WTRL.racing. Head on over to WTRL.racing. Register your team. Martin, when does registration close? Give us some shout out. I believe for the first race, just the first race. I'm not talking about the league overall. You can register throughout the entirety of the first season, but registration for the first race closes. Is it Sunday, Martin? Is that right?
Yes, Sunday, pretty much everywhere in the world. I think if I remember rightly, it's 8 a.m. London British time, which usually is a good guide for everybody to use. But it will freeze, and it will freeze because we have well over 800 teams to sort out into various divisions and keep the racing competitive. So you will be able to join late, but if you're not registered by 8 a.m. London time on Sunday, you will not be eligible for race 1.
Gotcha. So make sure to jump. Now, that doesn't mean you can't jump in at any time. Just make sure that you jump in at any time throughout the entirety of the league. It just means that for the first race, you need some time to organize 800 racers, I think, Martin.
No, we do. We'll probably be on that most of the day on Sunday. I think we're likely to have sort of something along the lines of 6 pools of 25 or 30 teams just in the EMEA West alone. So it's going to be interesting. There'll be an email out to the managers and captains shortly to explain how it's all going to work.
And all of the zones will be covered here on Zwift Community Live. Make sure to hit those follow buttons. Turn on your notifications because the Zwift Racing League is coming at you fast and furious next week. So we'll see you then, as well as Sunday. Make sure to be here for the Ride for Alls. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. That's going to be it for number 77 out here today. Thanks to everybody for jumping in. Thanks to all the viewers. I'm Nathan Guerra, Dave Towle. We'll see you on Sunday for the Ride to End Alls and the launch of ZRL next week. As always, everybody, ride on.